Just want to test the mic. All right, we should be getting started very shortly. Okay, let's get things started. It's gonna be a little bit early. I'm just gonna keep let me just organize a few things on my end. Mainly, I need to hear some music. So boring just hearing myself talk to myself. All right, and with that done, we'll take this down. We're gonna start in about 4 minutes, but while we wait for other people to come, let's get things a little bit organized. Last night I worked on a new build of Pixel Vision or Game Creator Pro, so I made some modifications to it based on some bugs we found yesterday, and today we're gonna spend some time going through and trying to get Eevee's pixel art better aligned to the Nintendo spec. And it's nothing on him, it's just the spec is like really hard to follow because it's only 3 colors per sprite. And I think, right, if we rerun this, we'll see we got some sprites that are missing graphics, mostly because they weren't imported correctly. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the sprites now and make sure that they are importing correctly. You'll see now if we look at this, there are some sprites where we're getting some colors are missing, and there's a few things that I'm going to try to tweak in his sprites and then send it back to him to see what he thinks about getting it to work. But yeah, it's really tough to get these sprites at the right thing. Wherever you see this magenta right now, especially in the solid color, there was like an extra color here, and that's just the NES just had like a lot of color limitations. It's a tough system to design artwork for. So let's we'll give it another 2 minutes, but while we do that, I'm going to open up the PSD, and we're going to create a new. Well, we're just going to go and we're going to start tightening up some of this stuff. So we're going to use Pixel Vision 8 to not a PNG file. Fascinating. You saved it. Sprites. Let's see, where are we? These are our sprites. So we're going to try to use Pixel Vision 8 to help us figure out where we need to fix the color stuff. The shoes are a big one I noticed. That should be pretty straightforward. It's just going to stink. It's like there are lots of ways that we could do like layered colors if we really wanted. Oh, this is a tough one. Generally, like the way that the Nintendo would do is that they would overlay sprites. So like Mega Man had a 5th sprite over its face. I don't know, maybe it's a 5th sprite over its face to give it the white eyes. So we may have to take a look into going in and doing that stuff. What we're going to try to do though is we're going to try to find the easiest solution where we really don't have to destroy the sprites too much to make that happen. It's a challenge. These old video game systems really had some strict color limitations, and a big part of this exercise of why I've been working with Eevee to do these is that I wanted to have at least one set that was like super strict to the Nintendo's color limitations to sort of show off how Pixel Vision 8 can basically emulate a Nintendo. So let's go in here. We'll make some tasks for today, and then we will create palettes, clean up colors so they work on NES. I think these are sort of the things that we're going to focus on today, which is cleaning up the palettes and cleaning up the colors so that they work on a NES. It shouldn't, for the most part, this stuff looks like it's working pretty well. Like, honestly, what we just got to fix is this, let's do some like granular notes here. So what we want to do is move player arm to left in idle animation. So that's like the first area I'm noticing where if this hand, which is sort of hard to see, if we can get this hand to never cross this body area, we can use a separate color for the strap. And that's going to be critical. The other area that we need to fix is, unfortunately, both shoes need to be the same color. So that should fix the other part of it. Unless we just make the whole thing black. So we'll take a look at that. Then it looks like in the jump animation, we're going to need to move the hand over to the left. I don't know. We'll take a look at that. What I'm thinking is maybe we can one, two, three. One, two. There's three colors here. All right, this is, for the most part, this isn't too bad. There's just some, like, you know, what we might want to do is look into pulling out the face and doing like an overlay sprite on the face for all these things, so that like for the zombie we can have multiple colors, and for the player we could have different colored hair. Where would we need to do 1, 2, 3? The head is actually fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like this sprite right here, this is tough because this is this one here has 5 colors in it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 colors, right? Let's see if we can find this running. What I'm actually thinking of doing is that maybe there's a way that we can combine these sprites. All right, let's get started, and we'll sort of work our way through this. I think what I'm trying to figure out is that maybe there's a way that we can. I don't know how close the player. Well, I think Pixel Vision 8 is going to optimize it. What I was looking to try to figure out is how much is reused. Like if this is the only thing that's unique on the female character, and if the female character like I'm looking to see if the guy and the girl could just have, if the difference between the guy and the girl could just be this one area where the hair moves. If there's a way that we can combine them a little bit better, because the faces are sort of the same. There's a lot of similarities. So we just need to sit down and really think through how we want to organize these sprites so that they work according to the Nintendo limitations. And this is just, you know, this is just par for the course. Like I said, these limitations are really tough. And what we need to figure out is like right here, this sprite right here where the hands are in the air, it's this right here. It's got too many colors, and you're seeing that right here the transparency is or that transparency is showing through. And like this would be pretty straightforward to clean up. So let's dive into it. Let's see if we can fix the feet first. I think the feet are sort of like a low-hanging fruit, and what we're going to try to do is let's try to decide if we want to make it black. Well, we can always change that later in the palette. So what we're going to do is let's select our guy. Why are we in the PNG? I want to be in the PSD. And I believe I was working on this guy before. So let's come in here, and what we're going to do for the guy graphic is we're going to select all the areas where his foot is colored. And let's just swap that out to green. And the other thing that I want to do is I want to get a copy of the color map, because while we're cleaning up this stuff, we're going to take this palette here, and I just want to make sure that it's that we're using the right that if we're going to optimize everything, let's just make sure we use the right colors. So right now we just fixed the foot for the guy, and what I want to take a look and see is let's save this out as a PNG, and we're going to call this a sprites PNG. We'll put this into the sandbox folder, which is where Pixelvision 8's game is, and then we're going to look at we're going to refresh this. So a sprite to look at is going to be like this sprite right here, which is 41. So let's refresh this and see if we can reload 41. And now you see the feet have now been fixed. So this may not 100% solve our problem. Obviously, we're not going to see any of this stuff because we got to rebuild the index for where the sprites are. But now, since the feet are the same color, we're able to at least see them. And then the other part we need to look at is in this idle animation, there is there's some stuff that's leaking in, which is just the player's hand. And what I'm actually thinking of doing is I'm thinking of having an overlay for the chest. One that was the like one that's just a generic chest, and then one that has well, I don't know, let's see. Because what I don't know is if we move, like if we move this hand out, and try to keep the body centered, like what I'm sort of thinking is like this frame and this frame are good. Let's do something rough real quick here. We're gonna move this, whoops, here, and this one I don't know how to really fix. What I was almost thinking is like maybe I can move, oops, no, move this over here. What I was thinking is that maybe I can move his hand up. So like he like huffs and puffs, but what we should do is let's just do a real quick test here where we see if I just want to see how hard it is to fix these animations, and if we can get well, let's leave it like this. I want to see if I'm going to export, well, let's do this. Let's undo all these changes real quick. Before we go any further, let's make sure that the workflow is still valid. So what we're going to do is we're going to save out a PNG. The PNG is going to be saved to the root of the sandbox folder called sprites, which is the original sprites. Then what we're going to do is we're going to export all these slices, and we're going to put them into the sprite builder folder, hit save and replace. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it to where even though things aren't going to be, even though I'm missing some colors in some areas, excuse me, I want to get it to where it actually imports correctly. So let's go to the sprite builder and rebuild the sprite index. And there we go. Okay. So now we're able to see where colors are missing in a particular animation. And we could sort of make a decision on what needs to happen as we go through and clean things up. So one big place where we're seeing there's one area where there appears to always be a missing sprite or missing color is in the running animation. And it is this shoulder right in here. 1, 2. So what I'm afraid is that there's just too much color with the face. So here's sort of what I'm thinking of doing. Let's what I want to do is I'm going to copy out the faces, all the faces, and then we're going to see about making them a separate layer of sprites that'll sit on top of the player. So this is sort of what they did with Mega Man. So let's copy them out. We're going to paste them down, and they're just going to exist in their own little layer. So we'll just call this guy faces, and let's hide that layer for right now. Then we're going to come in and we're going to select the face area, but we're going to remove the hands. And we're just going to remove the edges. We're not going to remove the inner stuff well, actually what I do want to do, I want to remove this and this. Well, this is definitely the real like Nintendo experience, like sitting here and trying to get these colors to work. All right, so now what I've done is I've gone through and I've removed all the faces. And in fact, what I think I'm actually going to do is I'm going to copy these guys out and I'm going to paste them down. And this is going to be the guy faces. Let's delete. I can't see. My phone's in the way of the right-hand side of my screen. All right, let's delete this layer. And we're going to keep these guy faces. Now, we're going to do a few different layers here. Guy face, mask. I'm trying to be like non-destructive with this. So what we're going to do is let's do a color overlay. And I want to select this purple, which maps over to black. And now you're going to see what we're doing is we're going to, in order to get the colors to work, we're going to mask out big chunks of overlapping color where we would have a sprite that would have something like 4 colors. We're going to mask that out and we're going to remap the face back on top of it. So here you'll see if we put the face as its own sprite on top, all we're doing is the face is actually one color now. And this would even let us do some cool stuff like if we wanted to do like whites in the eye or something else. And then wherever we don't have color is just going to simply be the black. So now if we save this back out, so let's save this PNG. So we're going to go to here, we're going to save this as a PNG, hit save, and then we're going to save out all the slices again in the sprite builder folder, replace. And now let's, we're having a neon party. Hey Andrew, how's it going? I owe you an email. I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. But yeah, those are my nasty colors I use for helping me figure out a palette. So okay, so I'm confused why now all of a sudden. All right, so maybe we didn't take away enough colors. That running animation uses. You know what I think? I think I took away the wrong place. That's interesting. All right, let's take a look here. Basically, we're trying to get these sprites down to 3 colors per sprite, so it works sort of like how a Nintendo would. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to put this hand as part of the color mask. 1, 2, 3, and then here it's gonna break too. So, this is tough. These Nintendo limits are tough. Yeah, I was wondering why you never followed up. I saw you posting stuff. I have my hands full with like a million things right now, so I haven't needed any other pixel stuff right now, and I've been working with Evie on these sprites to try to get like a Nintendo accurate sprite set for my little zombie runner game. But we're running into some problems where it's really hard to make sprites with 3 colors per sprite. So I'm trying to figure out right now how I can overlay them in order to get some extra colors in there. So, all right, one thing I know for sure is that this sprite right here we can easily fix. Let's go in here. We're just going to delete this strap, which will bring down the color count. So let's I don't know why I did that. Let's use the eraser instead. What's going on? Why is it not deleting? Am I not using the eraser? I'm on the eraser. Okay. Oh, you know what? Because I think the other colors, all the other sprites are showing through. There we go. Okay, I got it now. Let's pull out. You know, we're just going to hide all the other stuff for right now. We don't need it. We're just going to focus solely on this one guy. And let's see if we'll come in here. I should be heading to bed. I think son. What were you streaming all night? So what we'll do is we're going to remove that one piece of the strap, and that should get it down to 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to remove this part of the hair. Whoops, why does Photoshop do that? All right, I mean, luckily, you know, the problem is like when you look at it like this, it looks a little weird, but it's going to happen so quickly that hopefully it won't be that noticeable. But all right, Andrew, I'll send you an email when I get a chance. It's unfortunately it's I have a lot on my plate, so I don't know when I'm going to be able to send it to you. So I will do my best to send you an email. There's 2D Heroes, everyone. Great guy. He does a lot of my pixel art. So I have a whole bunch of pixel art that I'm going to be using from him that I'm going to be doing as individual sets. What did I do here? I screwed up like something. All right, let's put this back in here, copy this, and paste this hand here, and remove this. All right, there we go. Okay, so now what we've done is we've at least masked off this guy's face. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're probably going to have to, whenever his hand crosses his face, we're going to have to add his hand into the face mask, like this. So let's pull that out too. And if you're just tuning in, basically what I'm doing is I'm working on getting these sprites to sort of work within the original NES's limitation, which is only 3 colors per sprite. And what we're looking for are some ways to mask off sprites that have more than 3 colors. We're going to need to add an extra sprite on top of them. So I'm masking off parts of this player's face in order to make this happen. So let's do guy face mask, and then we'll do guy face overlay, and let's hide this, and let's do a we'll just copy over this mask real quick and get rid of this and this. Okay, so I'll delete these old ones, and let's do this, and these are the sprites. All right, so what I need to do is get this layer up here, and then merge these together, and then move them down below the mask. All right, there we go. So I think we're getting closer. 1, 2, 3 colors. 1, 2, 3 colors. All right, we should be doing much better now with just having 3 colors. What I'm actually thinking is that maybe the center should just be 3 extra sprites as an overlay. And what we do is whenever this foot comes in, we would just mask it off. But let's save this out, and we'll test it back out in Pixel Vision 8. So PNG as sprites PNG, perfect. Yes, and then we'll save for web. We're just gonna save. Even though I have all the other stuff gone, we're just going to focus on this guy for right now. Let's refresh this. And now, yeah, like here in this body, this is where we're seeing, we're seeing some stuff in the middle. And I think that's probably the best bet is that we'll take we'll overlay 3 sprites here that will do the colors that we need to add additional color for detail. And that shouldn't be terribly hard. It'll just require a little bit more coding when we create the player. Now I'm going to redo the sprite builder, and let's run it. And what I'm trying to see is where we're getting one of these frames is still has too many colors, and I think it's this one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Okay. So the next thing that we could do to mask this off is going to be to pull out the body parts. But before we even do that, let's take a quick look at how we can actually get this guy's face back in here. Because this is going to be sort of a critical component. I want to fix, I noticed something here. So this and this should be deleted. Let's see where else we're getting, where else I accidentally masked off. All right, I think we're good to go. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to pull this guy's face and move it off to the side. And then we're going to create some separate sprites that are just the guy's face, and we'll use them. We'll try to figure out, what I'm thinking is that we're going to have to make a companion to... Yeah, okay, I know what we're going to do. Sorry, I'm trying to think and explain at the same time, and it's sometimes it's a little hard to do that at 9:30 in the morning. Basically, what we're going to do is each each one of these sprites, basically, these like larger collections of little sprites, these large sprites, I guess, are called like Guy Idol 1. What we're going to do is create another layer for just the three center, the face, the body's trunk, and the legs. And we're going to duplicate them off to the side here. And that's sort of what I'm thinking. So let's get rid of this mask idea for a second. And I'm just going to do this by hand, where we're going to copy this body, trunk, and, well, let's do it for everyone. And then once we get the masking correct, then we will move them over and set up as sprites. Because what I want to do is, actually, you know what? Before we do that, I lied. There's one other thing that I want to do. I want to fix the feet. Because if we're going to mask this off, we might as well have separate... we might have separate feet. Might as well have separate feet. So let's copy these. We're going to paste them here. And that will, let's just make sure they're aligned correctly so we don't screw up all of our sprites. Because I'll show you how we're going to get the the feet to work. This is kind of, I don't know. I find this kind of fun. It's interesting. I'm sure when you had to like actually build a real Nintendo game, this must have been brutal. But it's like an interesting little puzzle to try to solve. Like, you know, if you wanted to build a real Nintendo game, there's a lot of limitations. And like I said, in Pixelvision 8, Pixelvision 8, you can basically, you could fake it. Like, you don't have to be this. I mean, if I didn't bring up the fact that the Nintendo really had a color limitation of 3 colors per sprite, it's 4, but 1 has to be transparent in this case. You wouldn't even notice. It still looks very Nintendo-like. And that's because the Nintendo was able to like use an extra sprite to overlay. But I wanted to get this to be like very accurate. I wanted to show off. One, I want to build a fun little like Nintendo endless runner, but I wanted something that's sort of like hardware accurate. So I'm going to go the extra mile, my friends. All right, let's copy this and we're going to paste it down. And in essence, what this is going to be the Guy overlay sprites. And from here, it's not going to be apparent what they're doing, but we're going to, if we move this face mask, let's move this face mask down. What we're going to see is that this is going to re-add in the colors that we're masking off, and we're going to keep adding stuff to this face mask. So the next thing that we want to, we probably want to mask off is going to be the shoes. So I'm going to pull out all of the shoe color from this center mask. And this is why I pulled out the mask, is so that when I, that's sort of why I pulled this out. Now I can copy this, I can paste it down, and we're going to merge this into the mask layer so that if we get rid of it, oh, that didn't do anything, did it? Why did this mask correctly? Let me merge these layers. Ah, you know what it is? It's because of the color effect. No. Yeah, copy layer style. All right, let's remove the layer mask. We're going to, I wonder if I can put, let me see if I can put this paste layer style. Oh, hey, look, even better. Okay, we'll do this a little bit more intelligently. We're going to, so this would be the guy, so this is the face mask, foot mask. There we go. All right, and now if we look at our sprites, anytime the foot crosses this area in the center, anytime the foot crosses this area, we're going to mask it off. And that means that our guy overlay sprites, we're going to go, once we get this masking correct, we'll go in and we will, we'll make sure that we clean up the sprites there. So, all right, so we got these masks. And the next place that we need to fix is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have to fix this strap. That's going to be the next place we have to mask off. So let's go, and wherever we see this in the center area, we're gonna copy that, and we will paste it back down, and we're gonna move this into our mask folder. So we'll call this a strap mask. Let's we should just, all I really need, I don't feel like I use any of this crap. Let's just optimize Photoshop real quick here. So, okay, so what we're gonna do is, actually we can probably just leave this out like this. All right, so now we have our overlay sprites, we have our mask, we're masking off where there's too many colors. Let's go ahead and let's save this now and take a look at what this looks like in Pixel Vision 8. Yeah, Elise is saying that that basically Mega Man sort of kicked this off, and yeah, I know about it. I know about the. I think Elise he uses there's somebody who follows that keeps the stream on mute. I think because they're deaf. So I can't remember who it is. So I want to make sure. I try to be inclusive of. Trying to be inclusive for everyone. I think he's deaf, so he doesn't listen to this, so he can't hear me talking, obviously. So I just want to make sure that he gets to, at least when he responds, that I sort of respond back to him on chat. All right, so let's save these out, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go back into Pixel Vision. We're going to rerun this, and let's rebuild here, and let's rerun this, and now you'll see. Oh, we're still getting one area where, oh, I can fix that. But we're getting much closer where now we're not losing all the colors. Let's oh, I lost my mouse because it's over son of a, it's over Unity. Let's clean up colors so they work on the NES. And we've done this. All right. So all right, so what we need to do is there's one other place here where it looked like we were losing the color, but I don't understand why. Like now it's right here. So what is this? This is 57. What we should do is, well, it's too late for that. Let's see, where the hand is out. So 1, 2, 3. It's this one right here. So we just need to come in here and we're going to clean up this. All we're going to do is erase this one pixel. Photoshop is such a pain in the butt for pixel perfect stuff. In fact, what we're going to do is I'm just going to there we go. Okay. So now if we save this and we redo everything, let's export this as a PNG, replace, and then we re-export all the sprites for the sprite builder, then rebuild, let's refresh this, and then rebuild the sprite builder and rerun it. We should now, there we go, perfect. We now have the sprites running exactly how they should be. We're not seeing any drops in colors, and we now have an area that we can mask off, and now all we need to do is just move over the overlay sprites and lay them on top of this so that we can actually get back the colors. And this is like a really, it's a lot of work. I don't expect anyone to really do this in Pixel Vision 8. In fact, all I have to do is if I made the colors like 4 colors per sprite or something like that, you could you wouldn't have to do any of this stuff. But the challenge is that I wanted to show off that Pixel Vision 8 could actually do what a Nintendo would do. So we're going to move all this stuff down here, and I'm going to realign it over to the right, and then we're going to trim out. Actually, let's just move all this stuff over, and then we'll put it off to the right, and then I'll show you how I'm going to re-add these back in. So, because now what we know is that the hair is fine, so we can use this. We can actually pull out the stuff that we don't need. There are a lot of like cool tricks we can do in Photoshop to actually like make this all seem like one seamless PNG, and maybe I'll get into some of that, like the nesting stuff that I do with smart objects and whatnot. But what I'm hoping is that there's going to be a good amount of reusability, so that we're going to I don't know if we're going to have enough room for this. Let's see. Is there enough room on the end? Nah, there's not. So let's just let's do it this way. All right. So what we can do now is let's go ahead and pull out the colors that we don't need from these sprites. Actually, what we should do is let's create masks. And all right, I'm going to try to just copy these over, and then I'll just resize them as needed. And then we'll go in and we'll sort of rename them. So this is the idle. We'll probably just start with the idle animation. And guy idle overlay. And what's interesting about this and why this is really a challenge is because earlier I was talking about how Evie and I worked out that the there's gaps in it where you have where there's missing sprites, so that we don't have to so we actually are getting sprites back. But we're actually, since this whole thing is what 12 sprites. So this was an empty sprite, this is an empty sprite, this is an empty sprite. these three sprites are coming back by overlaying these on top of them. So for what we saved, we wound up losing again in the end anyways. So let's get this, this, and this, and we'll copy them over. I wonder if I could resize these all at once. Nope. This is such an old feature. I'm waiting for the day that Photoshop deprecates it, and then I'm gonna have to stop using Photoshop. It's like the only reason I use Photoshop. That and Smart Objects. For the most part, Photoshop is just not really good for pixel art. Like over the years, it's just gotten so bad. Overlay, overlay, and overlay. All right, so let's pull out the last of the frames. And we'll, I'll try to move them all at once and just do this a little easier. So that's another 3. But these slices, once you get this sort of set up, it does a really great job at helping you do at least, I mean, this is what I built the workflow around, is being able to cut out these individual sprites like this and stuff. Let's do this. Oops. And this. What was this? 1? All right, so we'll copy these over here, and now I just need to rename them. So overlay, 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 ole. All right, so now we have each of the overlays that we need to do. All we need to do now is just go in and sort of clean this stuff up. So let me go back to the wand. I want to actually hide. Well, it's the one thing I don't know how to hide this slice stuff, but I'll work around it. We can hide this. So we don't need this color, and we don't need this color. And we don't need blue. And we don't need green. So in essence, this is basically what we're doing. We are adding these on top of the other sprites in order to get some extra colors out. But now that we have this, we can also now, what's kind of cool about this is that we could go in and do 3 extra colors here. So if we wanted to add a little bit more detail to stuff, we could easily. Like if we wanted to make the details in the shirt a different color. So I'm going to talk to Evie about that so he can get some ideas around it. So if we made the shirt like a solid color, I might come back in here and mask off. And in fact, you know, let's get this working and then we'll take a look at that, because I think once I'm able to show him sort of the concept of how this layering works for a Nintendo game, this actually becomes like pretty powerful. And if we look, there's a lot of repetition here. So like this and this are sharing the same sort of sprite. This are the same sprite. Even this one. So memory-wise, this is going to compress really nicely because it's the same sprites. And this stuff will be reused across for the woman as well. So let's output a new PSD, or no, a new PNG. And all right, so we're starting to get the face stuff in here. So you can start seeing where that fills in. And then next what I want to do is let's output each of these. with the sprite builder, and then we're going to overlay these guys on top. Now the next thing we want to do is, so if we refresh this and we now do sprite builder and we rerun it, we're going to get the same sprites that we had before, but we're going to now go into our code and let's open up the, well, we'll open up code and that'll open up the rest of the project. We're going to start looking at how the sprite builder laid out each of the overlays, and we're going to layer them on top. So now, just trying to wrap my head around how I want to actually do this. So let's do, there's one thing that's been sort of bothering me, and it's, I want to make this a little bit more reusable. So let's do, we have an update animated entity data. What we're going to do is let's add a new function here called function. Here, I'll add some space so you can see. And we're going to call this, what we actually should do is we should call this update animated entity and get rid of this data part. And we're just going to try to, since this is going to get like a lot more complicated, we want to basically combine this into a place where it we can sort of encapsulate all the more complicated rendering stuff. So draw animated entity, and we'll do target here. Ali had said something. Elise. I imagine that once this project is done, it will be part of the next release of the game engine. Yes. And I'm going to do a Nest style tutorial. That's really what I wanted to do. Like, as I'm still working on Pixelvision 8 as its own sort of dedicated console, what I wanted to make sure is that I had a tutorial that shows you, like, where the reason I started this, I wanted to build NES games, but I didn't feel like doing assembly stuff. So I figured it would be easier just to do this. And boy, was I wrong. It's taken me 2 years to basically build this game engine. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move over this logic to start with, and we're going to draw animated entities. We're going to replace guy entity here with, so guy entity with target in this selection, replace all. And now let's see if we can just call draw entity, guy entity. No, I don't want an emoji. How did an emoji come up? That was weird. Let's duplicate this, and we'll do the girl entity, which we'll get to later, and the zombie entity, which we'll do later. So now, if we come back here and we refresh this, or let's play it, nothing's showing. Interesting. Why is this broken all of a sudden? Okay. So now that guy draws. Let's let me see what I mixed up here. Girl entity. So we're looking for target. We're looking for target girl entity sprites equals nil. Target X, target Y. All right, let's see if this works. So why didn't the guy entity work? Did I spell it wrong or something? Maybe I spelled it wrong. There we go. Okay, cool. So now that basically what we're trying to do is we're going to have to replace this sprite ID stuff Let me do the zombie as well, and we'll. So clear this and. All right, let's go. So now we got this going. What we need to do next is we're going to do an overlay. And the overlay is going to be a little... It's going to be similar. So we're going to do guy frames. So let's do this. We're going to create overlay frames. And we're going to do data overlay offset equals x equals 8 and y equals 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an offset in case the entity needs a different offset for it, right? And then our overlay frames are going to do sort of the same thing. And now what we can do is we can just call this overlay. So I'm pretty sure it's right. Let's take a look here. Guy idle overlay. Perfect. So let's add overlay to all this stuff, and then we will we'll test out what this looks like in a minute. So now, because we're using the same basic rendering system, all we need to do is that when we go and we create our sprite, so let's see, update animated thing here, we set target sprites. What we're going to do is we're going to set a target dot sprite overlay IDs equals this should be the same. It should actually just be the same exact thing. Hold on, let me just duplicate this, remove this, and sprite overlay IDs. And all we're going to do is instead of this, we're going to call this it's overlay frames, right? Overlay frames. So it'll be target overlay frames, but it'll use the same exact IDs to match everything up correctly. And we'll pull out the sprite IDs and everything should be good. So before I even go any further, what I just want to make sure is that if I rerun this, there's no errors, which there is right now. Line 104, sprite overlay IDs. I don't think... I got to... I'm going to get rid of these guys because right now they don't have that. They don't have those overlays. 104. So target sprite overlay IDs. Overlay frames. Did I do that right? Overlay frames. So there is an overlay frame. Target current state, target current frame, sprite IDs. So it goes to get the sprite ID. I wonder why this is I just want to see something here if I'm making a mistake here. Entities 104, attempt to index a nil value. Entities, line 104. Interesting. Why would this fail? Sprite overlay IDs. All right, so target frames. What am I missing? What am I missing? Guy idle overlay. So these should all match up. Do we not have these? Overlay, 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 overlay. right. So this is data frames, data overlay frames. That should work. 104. Huh. I'm really confused as to why this isn't working. All right, well, let's... Create animated entity, guy, data, print, overlay, data overlay equals null. Let's see if this is not being found. Let's see, we'll go to the debugger. Overlay frame, false, false. Interesting. Some of these frames don't have overlays. But how is that even possible? How could some data not have an overlay? Huh. What is going on? I'm like really confused all of a sudden. Which is always fun on a stream when people are watching and they're like, this is boring. Sometimes programming is boring. So what I need to figure out is why the target doesn't always have an overlay. So doesn't equal nil. I know why. I know why. I know why. I got it. Let's get rid of all this. So this is correct. Overlay frames. Overlay frames. And let's delete this, delete this. Basically what's happening is I'm updating the other characters and they don't have these frames. There we go. Whew. Fix that. All right, so that's running again. Now all we need to do is this. So if overlay IDs, and we can actually, if target not equal null. There might be a time where we just don't have overlays. So we can just ignore them as part of the system. And then we'll do the same thing sort of here, right? So we're going to test to see if the target has overlay sprite IDs and they're not set to nil. What we're going to do is, oops. And we're going to take the target X plus the target overlay position X so that we can offset these inside of the child. And there's one other thing that we need to do, which is the overlay width equals 3. Just want to make sure this is an overlay offset, and I spelled this correctly. Overlay offset, there we go. So let's add this to the Y position. And here we can just do target overlay offset W. And everything else should be sort of fine. All right, so now let's rerun this. And we get an error. Entities 1, 2, 3. Draw sprites, target position, target overlay. So it's at 1, 2, 3. Character position 1. I'm trying to figure out 1, 1, 2. There we go. That is the problem. So let's save this and try to rerun it. All right, so it's not drawing the overlay. What am I missing here? Let me try removing this and just see what it draws. Maybe it's just drawing the same thing. All right, so that didn't set anything. That's a little frustrating. Sprite overlays. So if I swap this out for this real quick, would this draw something? Bah. Maybe we should just start like before we get too far. Let's just get the basic stuff rendering. No, there's no overlay ID. Look at this. Let's see if we got overlay found. Overlay frames, syntax exception. Let's try this again. So it's not finding the overlay IDs. So if the target is not nil. Oh, here's why. I'm such an idiot. If there's overlay frames, then we're going to set this ID. And then here, if this ID is set, then we're going to render it. All right, so let's go back to, there we go. All right, so now the next thing is that the width is wrong. So all I got to do is set the width to 1. And we'll save that. And rerun it. And there we go. Hey, look, we got some sprites. There's like a weird shift in his chest, which I don't know what that actually is from, but let's see if we can do this one. All right, set this. So there we go. We now have, it does say girl, but it really is rendering out the guy. So we're now displaying this. One thing I want to do is I want to go to one of the demos real quick. Games. I want to go in and I'm going to copy some code from another project, and I'm just going into Pixel Vision 8 itself, and I'm just going to pull out from one of its demos instead of having to save this and then copy it over. If we look at the tile map demo, I should be able to pull out this code real quick. That will just draw. What I want to do here is at the end, I'm just going to draw this. Is this going to the tile map cache? Let's just draw the frames per second and the sprite count. So, okay. So what we just did was we added a counter on the left. So we're going to make this total sprites. And this is going to be FPS. I'm gonna have to fix the whoops. Attempt to perform. Oh right. Hey Lua, you're awesome. I don't know why it uses dot dot, but it's just super annoying. Yeah, we just need to add some extra stuff to this. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So, all right, so now we can see the total number of sprites and the frames per second. Total sprites. Let's call it TPS. What was it? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So let's make this 20. All right, there we go. So now what we're doing is we're going to output how many sprites it takes to render something, and then the total frames per second. So let's go ahead and save. What we added now was to the project, which we did. Whoops! No, I want to delete that. All right, we got to add it here. Why? The UX on this thing is so bad. Drives me nuts. All right, I wanted to add FPS and total time. Whoops, and total sprites to display, which we did, and abstract out renderer, create overlay sprite draw logic. Okay, cool. So we've done all these things. Look at that. And we're still cleaning up these colors so that they work on an S. So let's close that. Let's submit our Pomodoro. And I wanted to delete, where's my mouse? I don't know how to delete something. I hate this thing. Why is it so, first off, Unity is being annoying. Why can't I delete an item? That's weird. How did I pull that out? There's no way to delete this. Oh, there we go. Anyways, okay, when that thing does work, it's kind of cool to be able to track my Pomodoros and stuff. But all right, so our sprites are working. I need to stand for a second. Let's take a quick standing break. But so that's basically the concept, right? Is I do want to see there is some weird shift. I don't know if that was intentional on the player, but oh yeah, it is. It's right here. Now, is that actually how that looks? No. Okay. So one sprite got oh, cool. It was saying Pomo Done has a much nicer UI UX, but it's €1 a month. Yeah. I'm using the free one for this. On my other one, I think I have a paid one. I think I did Pro. I don't remember. But yeah, it's definitely a place that could be improved. That's for sure. Let's I just got to fix this one frame is bothering me. Let me delete it from here. And then I'll move this layer down, oops, and merge these two together. And now I won't see that weird, it looked like the chest was dropping on like one frame. And also, I did something here that screwed things up. Let me copy this over too. I think when I was playing with it earlier about moving the hands out, There we go. We'll put the hands back in here. And what we're going to need to do, I think, is we have to redo this mask a little bit. I think I messed up. I think I messed up something. So let's see. What was... where was our strap mask? All right, so let's copy this and this. This is where it's going to get complicated. Whoops, what am I doing here? Let's merge these two layers together. And where's our strap mask? I'm just going to do this manually. We'll mask that out, and we'll mask this out. But 1, 2, 3. So there is 3 colors here. All right, so that should work. Let's see, what were you saying about the... I'm using the free version at the moment, working on games, as well as abusing the breaks feature to remind myself to take breaks every 30 minutes. So when... just browsing the web or watching streams. Yeah, the breaks are really important. It's one thing that it's sort of tough because when you're streaming, you don't want to like break the continuity of the stream, especially when people are watching. And it's stupid. Like at one point, I was trying to figure out how to do like commercial breaks, but like commercial breaks that were like not stupid, which I never figured out, which is why I don't do them anymore. But it's I'm noticing something. Wait, is this off? No, this works. Okay. I just got to, I got to get this strap stuff on. So, you know, I need to, I don't know, it's just important to like, just be able to stand up and stretch. Like it's just, I can't sit here at a computer all day long. I've just gotten too old, I guess, which sort of sinks. I don't know. Something's screwing up here. I'm not following what's going on with this color. Overlay sprites. Those are the overlay sprites. What did I do here with these? I think I was doing something in the sprite layer here where, hold on. I'm just going to copy. You know what it was? I think I was... It's fine. This should all be fine if I'm looking at this correctly. I have like too many layers and I can't organize myself right now. Yeah, blood clots are not fun. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Aziano? Aziano? Is that how you say your name? How old are you? Because I think it has a lot to do with how old you are. Like I used to be able to like sit at a computer like all day long, but now I just notice like if I sit at the computer, like literally my legs are just like cramped up and I have to do like stretches. It's like it's definitely like a old man, a reminder of being an old man, which is sort of annoying. I think what I could just do is I'm trying to just go through and think if I can get away with what I wanted to do is I wanted to go back to actually having different colored hair from the pant leg. Since we're doing all this layering stuff, let's see if we can go back to having the 4 colors per sprite. Because this is originally what the sprites look like before I started like tweaking them and stuff. And I just want to make sure that I'm adhering to the original vision of the artwork. The goal is not to make Eevee redo his artwork. It's for me to get it to work in the Nest limitations by taking his artwork and just breaking it up and cutting it up. So let's I'm gonna paste this and bring this over here, and then let me just delete these other colors real quick. But I need to move this over here so it's at the same level. Because where is this layer now? These are the guy overlays. This is the new stuff that I did. And what I want to do is I want to delete this from the guy overlay so that now when I come in and start removing these colors, it lines up correctly. There we go. All right, so now we should be able to have separate hair color from the pant color, and this is going to be a lot more dynamic. Broken my leg, thankfully no permanent damage. Better keep your health checked. Much more active now. Didn't exercise before. Yeah, blood clots are scary as shit, man. I can't. I missed the earlier part of the chat. I can't stretch out this on my window. Oh, there we go. 27. You had a blood clot in your early 20s. Yeah, that's some shit. Well, good. You're better now. Yeah, being active and that kind of stuff. I haven't biked in like almost. It's almost been 2 years, maybe. I don't know. I was biking like 20 miles a day, and was like for the first time in my life like really feeling healthy. But then my back sort of like was giving me some trouble, so I had to stop. And this year I'm looking forward to like getting back into it. Although I don't know when I'm going to fit the biking in, because I like to do the stream in the morning so everyone I work with is basically in Seattle. So my day doesn't really start until like 11ish, which is why I do the streams in the morning. So when everyone starts coming to the office in Seattle is when I start winding up like being pulled into meetings and stuff like that. So I try to get. So before I was just biking in the morning around this time, so I'll have to figure out the balance. There's never enough time in the day, unfortunately, to do all the stuff that you want to do. Okay, so what I've done is I went back and I reverted this. I'm actually going to delete this older three sprites thing, 3 colors per sprite, because these are the defaults. These are the default sprites, and what I really want to get to is that. I want to be able to add a little bit more detail into here, and I think we can do it. I think Evie did a really good job on laying these out. What really just comes down to, as the programmer, ironically enough, for the Nintendo, my creativity of how I can get these colors sort of working. The one thing I'm noticing though is that the mask is reversed. I think this foot was green instead of white, so let's go in here and let's just change the color to green so that it matches up correctly on the mask, or it would look really weird. Does this even match up here? This thing is like really weird. Like none of this stuff matches up now. Oh, I know why. It's because I was using. All right, so this is correct. Okay, we are good to go. All right, so let's export this now. So the big change that I just did was I made the hair a different color. I went back to the older one where the hair was a separate color. Let's save. What am I doing? I am saving this guy, right? Yeah, PNG here, and then we'll save out all the sprites separately. Oh, the one thing I didn't do is I didn't save out the mask. So let's redo this again. Sorry, we'll do this. We'll save as. We'll save all the sprites back into the Sprite Builder folder. We're going to save out a PNG again. So what's today's goal? Today's goal is I've been taking this artwork. So for this week, I took basically some PX on Twitter. His name is Evie, I believe. I'm hoping so. He made me these sprites. So what we're doing is I'm going to make an endless runner, a NES style endless runner. And one of the challenges that we have, so I'm using my own game engine, Pixel Vision 8, and basically we're trying to get these sprites which don't adhere explicitly to the Nintendo's color constraints of 3 colors per sprite. We're trying to get them to work correctly. So what we're doing is through a bunch of different layering techniques, we're drawing out a base layer for the sprite, and then we're doing an overlay to add some extra detail, which is sort of what Mega Man did. And as you can see, for these two characters, we're already using 30 sprites. And what we need to do is we're going to figure out what the limitations are around building out a basic game and how many characters we can have on the screen, and when we're done with all the overlays and everything. So hopefully that's like the long version of it. So all this stuff here is me masking stuff off and showing how we split out the colors and do that. So anyways, the end product is that I'm going to build a tutorial that what I'm going to wind up building in here is I'm building this game because we're going to do one of the things I'm doing at work is we launched a new service called Game On, and it's basically to help people make competitive like mobile esports or any type of esports game by offering real world prizes, so you can run competitions and people can compete against each other. So it's like leaderboards and stuff like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to build a Nintendo game, a Nintendo-like game, and then we're going to turn it into a sort of mini esport title where people can compete with each other for the highest score in the runner. I was just reading something that Tecmo Bowl, the original Nintendo football game, which is great, by the way. I'm not even a sports fan, but that's like one of my favorite football games, has become like this esports thing because people still play it and compete with it. So I'm sort of taking a page out of that book, but we're going to make a competitive esports Nintendo game, but we're going to use my game engine Pixel Vision 8 so that we don't have to write assembly. Anyways, that was really long. I think I had to remind myself what the hell I was doing. All right, so we've imported this. Excuse me. All of the player stuff looks good. I'm going to rebuild the sprite list, and if we rerun this, it looks like we're just getting some issues around the head and some missing colors. So let's go in and sort of debug and figure out what I did there that broke that. So what is causing that problem? Now, is there not a brown? Yeah, there is a brown. So if you remember, what I was just saying was I made this hair a different color. There's a few things that I think I broke by deleting the other sprites. Let me rerun this again. Okay, yeah, okay. So I got to go back and I got to fix this guy right here. Let me fix this sprite. I think I got a little too like happy with deleting stuff, but it's fine. We'll whoops. Let's get rid of this and let's delete in here. We need to delete all of this. All right, so that fixed that one sprite. What I'm kind of concerned about is why. Let me save this real quick, and let's save the PNG back out. I'm kind of confused as to why his head is not working anymore. So we'll just have to debug that real quick. Puttering about in Unity, trying to finish something in the first time in 5 years. Yeah. Finishing a game is really challenging. I've built a few. I built a lot of really crappy ones, but I've built a few that I'm sort of proud of. I've been working on Pixel Vision 8 for 2 years now, maybe almost 3 years. So it's hard to finish stuff. This is taking me a lot of effort to get this far. All right, let's replace this and let's reload everything and then redo the sprite builder. Because the head is here. I just must have I must have done things out of order. Bar? No. Something is messed up here. I don't understand what's going on. I gotta look at this real quick. This is confusing me. Because Sandbox... I thought I fixed something here that... Hmm. Interesting. I don't know what's I don't know why all of a sudden it doesn't look like it's it looks like it's reverting to the wrong. Here's what I want to do. I want to slow down the animation real quick so that I can see what's actually going on, because I feel like something is out of sync. Let's set this down to like 2 and see if we can look through the frames. Oh, whoops. That's... All right, let's try that. Why is it going faster? Am I like... Oh, you know why? Wait, no, that doesn't make any sense either. The delay... Last time I remember, if I set this to 0, will that stop it? What's going on? Way too fast. Yeah, what's... What did we have it before? Why would this... frame delay... Why is it ignoring this? Am I sending the... overriding the frame value? Or is by making that... All right, so I don't know why the... Oh, you know what it is? I know why it's not. I know why it's being ignored, because we changed that here. So, okay, let's... 1, 2, 3. What it looks like is happening is that the... I think the overlay is going a frame ahead of where it should. But let's let me rebuild this for a second, because something is definitely not right here. I'm going to close this out so we don't get any corruption, and I'm going to reload this because we are getting... The head is correct, and if I look in the Sprite Builder folder, Guy Idle overlay, Guy Idle 1, his head is there. That yellow oh, you know what? It's not, let me delete all this. I think this is just, the files just got corrupted. Let's just go back and let's, oh, here we go. Here is the problem. I must have not copied these idles out correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4. I must not have copied them. I must have just dragged them on accident, and it looks like they're missing. So because they're missing, it's not outputting the right sprites, and it can't find what it needs to do. So let's fix this real quick. So much stuff to keep track of when making a fake Nintendo game, huh? All right. My music ran out. I gotta go fix my music in a second. All right, so I have a habit of trying to do huge projects now, and trying the Rami approach and make a game in 2 days. Yeah, Rami, that is good advice from Rami. So, and I've used it before. I think you might have truncated. I think it's spend 2 weeks on it, and then it's like a few months. But either way, I mean, 2 days is a short time for building a game. I do, although I have built some really good stuff in game jams. I really like doing game jams and using that as a time to build some fun games. In fact, one of the first games that I built personally on Pixelvision 8 was for a game jam, and it will be included in the next release. Where is it? Reaper Boy. So I wrote this in 2 days. Cast Pixel did the art, and it's just this little sort of like 2D Game Boy Pixel-esque, Portal-esque type of thing where you have to like come in from, you have to use the gravity to kill the bad guys. and this was a fun little game. So CastPixel actually redid the artwork at a much, well, I would say a higher resolution, but we've been working really hard on making a dedicated Pixel Vision 8 like a dedicated Pixel Vision 8 palette and personality, and we're going to be using that. So let's see. So let's go and we're going to redo the build, and now everything should work. Okay, cool. So I just wanted to go frame by frame and just make sure that this is all in sync now, which it is, and it looks pretty good. Like, so now, as you can see, at least for the player on the right, which will become the girl. Right now it's just the guy. We're able to change the color of the hair independent of the color of the pants, which previously they were tied together. And this is, I mean, this is the technique that Nintendo games used in order to get more. Oh, I thought I just saw a missing. There we go. There's a missing color. Where was that frame? 1, 2, here we go. It's right here. 1, 2, 3. I've gotten pretty good at counting colors on sprites. Let me go and fix this, which we lost from before. I just want to. I think we'll just make that solid. Okay, so let's just output all the sprites. I wish it was like an easier way of doing this, but this just, luckily when you do the tutorial, you won't, like when I write the tutorial, you won't have to go through all this. I'm getting all the pixel art to where it needs to be. The tutorial really is going to focus on the core concept of like, hey, here are some easy ways that we could draw like a bulk sprite, and then we're going to use other sprites on top of it to give us that overlay. I'll have to check out that link later. Oh, let me. I just want to get some more music going. Let's see if I can do this. Nope. All right. I need to switch. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. I have like this like stupid complicated setup for the stream, where like my laptop is outputting an HDMI signal to a capture card to my gaming PC, which has the power to export it, but I'm using a tablet with remote access to my PC so I can see what's going on, and this is all kinds of craziness. All right, so basically we've gone from these original sprites that Evie created to a palletized version of them, to a masked off version of them with some separate color overlays. And one thing I wanted to show off that I thought would be kind of cool is like, we could do something where if we wanted to add, I don't know what color is his shoes. So let's say we wanted to add a new color in. Check this out. We can come in here and use, let's pull this color out. And now if we wanted to give him eyeballs, this should now work. So we're going to save this as a PNG, because remember, the Nintendo had a limit of 3 colors per sprite, but these overlay sprites are only using 1 color, and it's sort of a waste. So we can actually add just a tiny bit more detail to it and walk away with some pretty interesting little effects. And this is going to play out a lot more when we do the zombie stuff. That's where we're really going to see it. No, you guys shouldn't be hearing music. The music's only on my end to keep me sane. I hate like just sitting here talking in a vacuum. So let's see. So now you can see the player now has different eyes. I've broken the running animation, so I have to rebuild it. But that's just sort of like a high level example of like how we can use this to our advantage. So I'm gonna get rid of that though, and re-export this and save it. So, let's see here. So I think we're going to do, the next we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for the female character. Let's redo the builder, and then we'll do the zombie, and I think that'll be enough for the day. I just want to go through frame by frame and make sure that we are no longer getting any missing. Oh, we got a strange color. Which frame is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, the 6th frame of the run animation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why is there a orange coming through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's not good. It must be. Which frame is it? Hold on, I'll just take a screenshot. It's this right here. So for some reason, that is how can we fix this guy's hair? I think what we're going to do is we're just going to get rid of this hair at the bottom. I think that's just... It's just not going to work. The way that we had to break up the head. Unless we... do this. And then that'll at least keep the hair at the same place. Oh wait, where did I draw that to? Come on, Photoshop, figure out what you need to do. Whoops. Driving me nuts today, Photoshop. Cool, you just keep drawing in the wrong layer. Come on. Wait, I got one. Should be hearing music. I think you forgot to hit build. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's just do that. That'll mask off the head area. I don't know. We'll take a look at that. I mean, a lot of this is just trial and error, right? It's now that we can see the animation. It's about, you know, slowing it down also makes it, makes things more obvious. So let's save this and replace it and come back here and we'll rebuild everything. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's close enough. I'll send this back over to Evie, and he can tell me if he wants to redo it. Like other things I was noticing that we could do is like we could give the other leg a color. Maybe. Do we have enough room? Yeah. So like if we looked at this, we could give the leg another color instead of it just being black. I don't know what. I think we're out of colors though on our palette, which might be the problem. So that's the other place where it like you sort of get it where Nintendo we had 3 colors per palette. This is still cheating. Like we're not even accurate. It would actually be those 3 colors, these 3 colors, and then these 2, and then it would be 1 more color. because one color is transparent. But again, I'm not going to. I just want to get this to where it feels right, and it's not. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. All right, so I think here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break. I just want to go grab a snack real quick. So I don't know, like I get so hungry around this time. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute break. I also need to go like just walk for a second and get away from the computer. And let's see here. Getting started. So. So what is it? 10:41. So let's just do. We'll do 10. We'll just do 10:48 EST. All right. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back, and then once we get back, we're gonna clean up the rest of these sprites, and that should get us to the point where we actually have everything we need for the game. And then I don't know what my stream is gonna be like for the next few weeks. Because my boys are gonna be home, and I'm going to be home too. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to, how much streaming I'm going to be able to do, but I'll start playing around the code and we'll figure out what we can. I might just have to move my streams to the evening. So I'll be right back. Okay. Just 1 minute late. All right, so let's see. Where were we leaving off? Right. Now, our plan is to basically remask off the other sprites and get them working. So we'll start with the female character. That should be pretty straightforward. So the way that we did it before is we just simply we copied out each of this stuff. What I want to see is my laptop feels like it's like 1,000,000 degrees. And what I'm kind of interested in is if I changed Pixel Vision 8 or the game creator to run in the background. It no longer shuts itself off, but I don't know if that's like the best approach. It's only using half of my CPU. All right. I'll have to address that at a later time. So clean up the colors. All right, good. So now we're done. All right, let's I might have to make the game creator not run in the background. That might be too intensive for it. I wonder if you can programmatically do that, or it has to be compile time. All right, so we'll pull out the center sprites. Actually, all we need really are these sprites. It's these three in the center. I think I'm gonna have to yeah, my laptop's like super hot today. What's going on? I have to figure out a better solution. I was trying to put my I have my laptop in my keyboard drawer, which is probably not the best place for it to exist right now. Just because I had nowhere else to put it on my desk, and I might have to get a stand to put it on the floor or something, so at least get some better ventilation. So like on a day like today, like when you do the stream and stuff, like just really takes a lot out of your computer. All right, so we're gonna overlay this. We're gonna do this is gonna be the girl overlay sprites. So okay, if you're just tuning in, basically what we're doing is we're taking a set of sprites and we're making them compatible with a Nintendo color limit, which is 3 colors per sprite. And the way that we're doing that is we're gonna have a base layer animation and limit each of the sprites in the base layer to 3 colors, which is what you can see with the guy on the top. And then we're going to have sprites that get overlaid on top of it in order to give us some extra detail. So what we'll do is let's move this stuff. Well, we're going to do this in 2 ways. First off, we need to I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna merge these together into the into one thing. So this is the guy mask, which will mask off any extra colors inside of the center 3 sprites that make up the player. So we'll call this guy mask, and then we're gonna make 2 copies of this. First off, the first copy is gonna sit as an overlay, and we're gonna put this here, which will mask off the center block. The next is going to be moved, over to the right. And I'm just going to take these and move them over like here somewhere. Do I have room down here? Yeah, perfect. All right, and then I'll sort of combine them together. And then we'll move them off to the side. And we're going to do the same thing with the zombie. What I'm hoping is that I can speed this up a little bit. And we'll move this off to the side, and then we'll see what colors. It should be the same. It should be basically the same colors that we had for the guy. So let's move this over to here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out the. Well, we're gonna do a trick here. First off, we're gonna put this here, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the hair. whoops, let's merge these two layers together real quick, and then we'll split them back up. So let's merge them, and we're going to take the hair. Well, we'll take the black outline, the hair, and the shirt. And we can also take, what else did I want to take? This yellow and this green. And now if we hit delete, we're going to be left with just the core stuff. The only other place that we're going to need to make a change is going to be, we're carrying over some of the hand animation, which we don't need. So I'm going to go and let's create the mask tool, and let's subtract the top stuff, which is just the face. And then, whoops, we'll do the same here. And now if I hit delete, we will we'll lose that. And now we should be able to take this layer, or these sprites, copy them, and well, actually we can cut them out, paste it, we'll realign it, and now if we put this into the mask folder that I created earlier, it'll mask it out for us. Boom, there we go. Okay, so now what is that humming outside? Oh, they're starting the lawn stuff. All right, so now what we've done is we've successfully masked off the female character. Let's call this a girl mask. And then the next thing we want to do is we got to create, I'm just going to copy out all of these, and we're going to create girl overlays. So let's drag this down here, and this should just be girl. It should match up, like these were called girl 2, right? Okay, so now I just got to go through and rename these slices. So, and then basically what we'll do is we'll output these slices, and because we're, because the guy and the girl are basically built through the same amount of sprites, this should work out pretty well for us. In fact, what I'm hoping is that we'll get some more memory back, because there'll be a lot of repetition between the foot area. So like this foot area and this foot area, instead of them being separate as they were before, now because we're masking it off the same way, we'll get back some sprites in the sprite chip. So I'm not terribly worried about like memory for how many sprites we're storing. This game is going to be rather simple. What I am concerned about, and I took it out for right now, is the furniture, because we're not going to have enough. We're not going to have enough sprites on the screen to have the furniture, and I'm gonna have to come up with some pretty clever stuff for basically taking the furniture. So here's the furniture, by the way. I'm gonna make the furniture part of the background, and that's gonna require a lot of finagling. So basically, when at runtime, when the player is running and the background is just scrolling, the player is actually going to be static in the center of the screen. When we scroll the background, as stuff goes off screen, I'm going to generate a new section of the map. And then once we generate the new section of the map, it's going to combine certain furniture. So we're going to have to come up with a pretty clever way of just like streaming in parts of the tile map and then adding in furniture on top of it. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do that, because the furniture has a lot of holes in it, and I don't know how we're going to be able to manage that. So, well, these are the constraints of building a Nintendo game. It's not going to be 100% like a real Nintendo game, but what I want to try to get is I want to get it as close as possible, because one of the things that I really like and why I built Pixel Vision 8 is to I wanted to be able to teach people the same techniques that they used in the old 8-bit systems So and that's something I felt was missing from the other fantasy consoles. They're very straightforward. You basically just have, you just have some simple limitations. But as you can see, like from the past few days, if you've been watching the stream or if you've just been joining me this morning, the limitations of like trying to build a real 8-bit game where you had like a limitation on memory and how many colors you could display per sprite is a pretty challenging one. Yes, making a Nintendo game is the Dark Souls of game development. That is 100% accurate. Now imagine if you had to do this in assembly. Assembly would be just brutal. All right, so let's refresh this, and we should be able to get the girl rendering correctly, and we'll have to fix some stuff in the code. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go back in. We're gonna have to fix some of the areas. You can see right now where. Well, why did that come back? Hold on, I'm missing something here. Let's do this. First off, let's make sure that when we create this, we create a girl entity. It sounds like you want to contemplate. Yeah, assembly is rough. I've never really done it, but I've seen enough of it to not want to ever do it again. All right, so let's start simple, and let's just get the idle animations working correctly. So what we need to do next is add the overlay stuff. So we're going to add this here from the guy, and we're just going to replace the word guy with girl. Replace all. So now if we rerun this, we should have both animations working well. And I swear I just saw on the guy, he has a missing color on this frame. No, this frame right here. What is missing? Huh. Let's take a look at what is going on here. So I'm going to take a screenshot. Whoops, I missed it. So on Pixel Game Creator, you can hit Control 2, and that'll give you a screenshot. Let's take a look at where the guy is missing a color. We shouldn't paste that into the mask. Which one is that? This first frame. Now, why is he missing? Oh, you know why? We've lost. We didn't export it with the guy's mask. There we go. All right, so that should fix the guy. I was like, why are they both are literally using the same graphics now? Like, why was one not working and the other working? All right. So, all right, so this should now, oh, we need to rebuild the sprite builder. All right, so both of them are now working correctly. One thing I wanted to do was I wanted to add in some logic here to I don't think we would have 30, 60. I don't think we'll have enough frames to show all the. We don't have enough sprites to show all the different states. What I wanted to do was I was thinking of how do I want to do this? Elise is saying that there's some guys who made it's called Ness Editor or something. I forget what it is, but I got it on Kickstarter where you can they pre-built everything in assembly, and then you could do and then you could basically swap out logic through some APIs, which is actually a pretty cool little tool. I can't wait to use it. All right, so what I'm trying to think about real quick is like how can I just cycle through the different animations, and I think what I was thinking about doing was I sort of got rid of it here, but no. Let's do this. So local state equals 1. Local total states equals, I think it's 3, right? Let's see. How many animation states do we have? We have 1, 2, 3. So, and then what we'll do is local speed equals 0.08. And what I'm going to do is yeah, I help fund that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the left and the right arrows to change the state, and the up and down arrows to change the speed. So I want to come in here and let's make this 0.8, and we're going to do some stuff just to debug our animations. So that's that's sort of like the regular frame rate. What we can do is, so we'll do if God, I forgot my own API for what the controller stuff is. Let's look at the manual. Nope, that's Grammarly. We don't need Grammarly. We're not writing. Chrome, getbook.com, Pixel Vision 8. I think it's button or something. Why? It's been a while since I've used like the input stuff. Where's the API? Lua API cheat sheet. Input, button, key. So we could use the keyboard if we wanted to capture the keyboard. I'm just going to use the button. So the main form of input in Pixel Vision controllers buttons. So why wasn't it? There we go. Button. Where are the enums for this guy? Did I have the enums in this thing? Buttons. There we go. So we'll do button 0 and 1. So if, oh, I see what it is. Button 0, and the input state is input state released, right? Released, and we'll do controller 0. Then else if, and we'll copy this end. So if we do up or down, so this is up arrow, down arrow. We're going to take the, what did I do? Speed. And we're going to use a clamp. I believe there should be a math function for clamp. Yeah, clamp. I don't know why it's not code highlighting. But our value is going to be speed, and we're going to set the clamp to 0. Well, it should be speed plus 0.01 for up. And we'll do the clamp should be the minimum should be 0. What did I do? Like 8? How do I want to do this? Crap. Let's just do this. Speed equals speed plus 0.1. I don't know what fraction I should use, so speed minus 0.1. So we're sitting here, it's going to be 0.0. I want to do something that's perceivable. Sure, whatever, we'll see. And then what we'll do here is guy entity frame delay equals speed, and girl entity this, and the other one will be a little bit easier to do. So this should be right, what are the inputs here? Up and down, so left and right is 2 and 3. So 2, 3. This one's going to be a little easier to do. So here we're going to do clamp. The value is going to be... Well, actually what we should do is, yeah, state plus, oh, this should be minus 1. So this would be state equals -1. The minimum is 1 and the maximum is 3. Let's just see if we can get this working real quick. And then this should be sprite IDs, current state. All right, let's see if this works. So there we go. So now we can switch between the states with the left and the right keys. And if we hit up, it's slowing down, and if we hit down, it should be speeding up. So we just want to reverse that. So this should just be minus and plus. So going up will give us more speed, and this will slow it down. All right, good enough. We just need to do some basic testing, because now I can go through all the animations and we can see where our color errors are and fix them. Maybe we should output this as well. So let's do, I don't know why that's like that. State, and we'll make this equal to we'll make this 16. And we'll make this speed. And we'll make this 1624 will be the next line. And now let's see if we can just output this. So if we increase the speed, we can see it sort of slow down. All right, so that's working out pretty good. I like this. What I'll probably do is I'll add this into a once I finish this, I'll add this into a demo for Pixel Vision 8, so you can have an example of what Ness, how to do like Ness style sprites with like another sprite overlay. and like a basic animation thing. Let's put this down here. All right, so left, right, and that'll update. So now we got this total sprite state speed. I wanted to just change this to 1 so that you have a better, you can have some more granular control over it. So that'll speed it up. And that'll slow it down. All right, cool. And then we can change our states. So what I wanted to do was, all right, so this one looks good. Let's come in and let's fix the color issues we're seeing with this this other stuff. So it looks like the leg, when the leg is jumping, we're missing a color on 2 of the frames. And luckily, since we're missing that on did I replace the wrong words? Oh, I see. Good call. Man, I stink at like live coding. Glad other people pay attention. Pair programming at its best, covering up all my mistakes. Thanks. Okay, so all right, let's come in here and let's take a look at where we're getting too many colors. 1, 2, 3. So one way that we could fix it is we can just add the color overlay to here. Now, what I noticed is that our guy has the hand color. So we have here, and we have this hand color here. So if we did the hand color, we can actually add that to the mask. The girl's running animation on her top left arm has transparency at the top too. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna go through all of them. I think that color transparency is right here is the problem. What I could just do is I just need to copy this out, delete this, and then that should fix, right? That should fix. No, wait, she has some more hair or something. Yeah, all right, all we need to do is get rid of this this red right here. That'll fix it. I'm not, the mask is off. Nope. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I'm doing this in the wrong area. Do I have like the wrong auto? Photoshop. It's a simple in a pixel. Can you not get this right? Do I have like auto select layer? I don't want that. That's, no, I do want auto select layer. Ah, interesting. I don't know why it seems like they'd be going to the wrong layers, but okay. All right, so what we're gonna do is, since we already have the hand coming in here, we're gonna add a mask to that for the guy. So this is pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna do this by hand, and then we'll copy this stuff over. So let's copy this, and I'm in the guy mask. So now we have 1, 2, 3 colors, and 1, 2, 3 colors, and we have the hand here and here. And right, we are masking off the hand. We're not masking off the hand here, but we'll mask it off here as well. So now whenever the hand comes in, we're using the same color and we're just masking that off. Let's go ahead and we're going to copy this. Actually, we're going to copy just this. We'll paste it and we're going to move it down to the girl. And then we'll just merge these layers. Whoops. We'll merge these layers together. So that should fix the jump, and that should fix that one little area where it was just pointed out that we had a missing color. So let's see here. Let's export this and test it all out. I mean, this is just one of the things that I wanted to do. So Evie and I are going to start working on the background layers, but before I got to the background layers, I really wanted to have a good handle on all the sprites. I felt like I was sort of rushing this early on, but now I'm sort of taking my time and going back and just making sure that this is correct, because how I implement the furniture in the background is going to have a huge impact on how the backgrounds need to be designed. Because in the backgrounds, I can't cheat. It's only gonna be 3 colors per sprite. There's no way to do this layering stuff, and I can't afford to just use sprites to decorate the background. So I'm gonna have to be very strict on that. Let's come here and do the builder, and let's rerun this. All right, so we'll slow this down. So it looks like on the girl, oh right, because we didn't mask off the girl. Fine, let's go to run, and I want to take a look at the girls running as well. All right, so what I just want to look. We're going to match up stuff and just make sure that we're masking off everything correctly. Like here and here, here and here, here and here. I'm not sure. All right, let's go to the girl's mask, and let's make sure that we let's just make sure that we mask off the hand here, wherever we see it. And we'll work on one animation at a time. Sometimes like my brain just like, it works a little too fast, where I try to solve all the problems at once. But we'll just focus on one thing at a time. It's just so many steps to like output these sprites and test it. But luckily I'm gonna do all the hard work for you, so you don't have to do that. It's like, what else would I be streaming about? Builder, run. All right, so now this works good. This looks good. Now we just got to fix her hands. And I'm really confused as to why that is happening, because these sprites look very similar. What am I missing? One, two, three colors. 1, 2, 3, 4. Her hair. Her hair and the shirt. So let's slow this down a lot. So the hair and this shirt are becoming a problem, and I'm trying to think of how I want to solve it. Now, let me see. Trying to think of what I want to do. We may have to add more sprites for the girl. Is that really what we're gonna have to do? That stinks. I mean, we could. Okay, so the girl is a little bit more complicated, but her hair is pushing the color limit. What we could do is we could be more cognizant of like this right here. We can fix. We could just remove the hair from this side of her head. What I'm thinking is that maybe we use an extra sprite here. Like, because I don't know there's any other way really around it. And these are the problems that we had to face 30 years ago making Nintendo games. So what we could do for the we could just make the girl could just make her a little bit like we could just make her so okay, so one thing that the sprite builder will do that's really intelligent for us is that if we broke out the highlights into this area, which is a 9 more sprites, right? If we only put a sprite here and a sprite here and a sprite here when we needed it, it would ignore these other areas. So what I'm thinking is that we might have to, just for the girl, when she's running, add some extra sprite details, but we're gonna have to also do the same. We have to make it we have to make a consistent size for the sprite builder to sort of like I don't want to have to do one-offs where I'm like, okay, now for this player we have one extra sprite. So what I'm thinking of doing is maybe we'll just redo these here and so let's do this. Let's copy out this. And my bigger concern is I don't think I just have room for laying this out. We're gonna have to do this in like multiple frames. Shoot. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to mask this whole thing off. Hold on. I'm gonna copy this out. Let me get rid of this and then paste it back down so I can just make sure that everything is lined up correctly. And let's copy out the first 3 sprites. And we're just going to put them here and here. And what we're going to do is we don't need these sprites here. All we really need are we're going to make like a T basically. Well, this is a good example. This just shows you how, you know, adding a little bit of more detail increases the complexity. Right? We don't need this or this or this or this or this or this. And then we can get even more granular because we're not going to need masking for here. And this is 1, 2, 3 colors. Nope, 4 colors. There we go. We need that mask there. We don't need the mask here. There's no colors here. There's only 2 colors there, so we're good. Here we're going to need 3 colors. 3 colors, right? That little 1 pixel, man. Gets you every time. So this is 1, 2, 3 colors, so we can get rid of this. And we can get rid of this. So these are the areas where we get a color overlay. And this is what we're going to have to mask off. But in order to do that, we're going to have to, since it goes to here, we have to always account for the worst case scenario. So this is always going to be like a little t. T. All right. So let's do the same thing. We can move it up here, and this is going to become the new runner mask, at least for the girl. So while I'm sort of organizing this, I'm going to just move these frames down here, and or these slices, and I'm going to just relay this out, and we'll clean up the layout later. Now I did sort of build in, I did account for this early on. That I made it where you can just change the position and the width of the overlay. So hopefully this won't be too complicated to add. And this will probably, what's probably going to happen is that the zombie is probably going to need something very similar. I have a feeling that the zombie has like enough detail that it's probably going to have some places where colors are overlaying. So, okay. So now we have a new, we have the new layout for this. What I need to do is I need to get this mask in line. So let's, if I was smart, what I would have done is I should have copied this from without the mask. Ah, shoot. Do I want to redo all this? Let me see if I can just get this working. Right, what was it? I don't know if I'm doing this correctly. It might just be better for me to redo. All right, so it's 1 pixel down and, oops. All right, I can do this. I just gotta like pay attention to what I'm doing. So then that's here. And then that's here. Nope, I messed this up. No, wait, no, I didn't. That goes there. That doesn't look right. Let me get rid of the mask. I feel like something's wrong here. Is it? Nope. It is up. Okay. The pixels here go up at a diagonal. All right. If you're just joining in, I'm I'm trying to get. I'm cleaning up some artwork so that it renders like how it would on a Nintendo, and basically we have a 3 color per sprite limit, and what we're trying to do is trying to figure out how to mask this stuff off so that it would work. So now this is what we have running so far, but we ran into a problem with the girl character where we're missing some colors. So I'm coming back in here and trying to get this working. So all right, what we're gonna do is first off, let's do the other ones too, and let's get them going. We're gonna do this across the board because it's too complicated the way that I'm doing it here. Let's get rid of the mask, and what we're gonna do is let's copy out these 4 sprites. Shoot, I need to do it this way. All right, let's clean this up. So basically what we were looking at before was wherever, for these, it's a little bit easier because there really isn't any overlap outside of the normal boundary. So we're just gonna have to make sure that they're aligned correctly with the other sprites. I'll sort of explain this. I'm trying to just like do all the math in my head for what needs to be done, but it's a tad bit complicated at this stage until I get this organized. Let's, whatever, I'll just do it right here and I'll deal with this later. All right, so this is going to be, in order for us to do the overlay correctly, they have to all be the same, they have to be the same size for the sprite builder to work. Because we're trying to templatize it. And the sprite builder will be smart enough that wherever there's empty sprites, it'll basically just make that transparent. What I want to do is make sure that this stuff is aligned correctly. Because, oops, I'm missing one here. What did I just do? This is so complicated. I can't even imagine doing this without Photoshop. Nope, that's like hurting my eyes. All right, so these are the idle animations. These are the running animations, and then there's the jumping animations, which we need to do next. So let's copy over. And I'm just gonna do this down here for right now, and then, whoa, oops, crap. We'll clean all this up. I should be able to get this done. I have a meeting at 12 that I got to do, so we should be able to just finish up the girl in a little bit. All right, so let's paste this back down, and we'll get this down here for right now. So this is just the jump. We don't need the top, which is good. And let me make sure that, okay, so for here I got rid of the top, that's good. All right, so let's get the left and the rights out. All right, oops, I hit the mic. All right, so now we can copy these last pieces over, and then we'll just rebuild the masks and stuff out. All right, woo! Man, this is a lot of work to get some Nintendo accurate sprites. Almost not even worth it. I am kind of curious to see who will take it to that extreme. All right, so all right, what I've done, the reason I just had to break this stuff up like this now is because we're going to pull out the colors, and we want this to all be, we want it to all happen at the same time. So this is one layer. This is another, I don't even know what that layer is. This is another layer. This, and this. Shoot, I don't want to do that. Let's get the right keyboard. I'm using a Windows keyboard on my Mac, so like I'm still not very good at. Wait, what just merged? What just happened here? That mask, that. Oh wait, I think I know why. There's something else that I had here. Yeah, here we go. These need to be merged into. All right, so this, and this. merged together should be one whole set. Woo! All right, so we got this whole set done. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna delete all the colors that aren't the orange red and this like light tan. So yellow, green. We'll leave the orange, the red, and the blue. We need to get now the brown and the green, and this magenta. That was a pain. All right, so there's the masking for the female character. And now we just need to reconfigure the system to do the overlays correctly. You guys still following me there? All right, let's delete that. And let's see. What can we do now? I just want to, before I start exporting stuff, I just want to make sure these are Girl Idol Overlay 1, Girl Idol Overlay 2, Girl Idol Overlay 3 over 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so there was one thing that I screwed up. Excuse me. Let me bring these colors back. Because what we need is we're going to need to put the hair in there. Yeah, you thought we were done, huh? So it's either, I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave the orange. That'll be the mask, and we'll just we'll mask out the orange wherever we see it. So if I went here now and let's do this. Let's copy out. Well, I only need it from here. Just bear with me. I'll eventually get this right. It's just there's surprisingly a lot of things to keep track of. Well, we can definitely get rid of. All right, so the rest of the things we can get rid of are, let's get rid of the. You know, how about this? Before we do something stupid, let's save this as a backup. This is a Girl Overlay Sprites, and we'll turn this off right now. So the things that we're going to get rid of are the magenta color. We're going to get rid of the black color, the blue color, the yellow color, and the green color. So that's going to give us the core overlay, and now we can just get rid of the hair. And so wherever we see an orange hand in the run animation, we're going to mask that off. And I'm going to come back to this, and I'm just going to select the orange here. And we'll remove this. Luckily, the zombie should be a little bit more straightforward. There's just a lot of animations to deal with. All right, I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it back down in place, but then I'm going to put it into the mask and merge it with the girl mask. There's just one thing I want to do. It's I cut out too much. So let's just make sure that we're only doing this in the right ones. Because we're not masking here. We're only masking on the inside. And then here we're masking in this T area. All right, I think we got it. I think we got it. Let's give it a try. Let's just see what happens, right? Go to PNG, replace, sure. Let's save out all of these sprites. Right, all the layers are correct and active. Replace. Let's come back here and now refresh the sky. Build. And now if we run it, the girl isn't, we have to refix, oh, that is kind of cool though. She has a head on her body. So now what we have to do is just fix the layout for the girl. So if we come in here and we find the girl, create girl entity, current frames, the offset, the width here is going to be 3. Right? Yeah. And you see the face is now off by 1. So what we can do next is we move this over a sprite, and boom, we're back in business, more or less. I gotta slow this down because it looks, nope, all right. It's just a little sloppy. His right is the left hand, I guess. It's the left hand, the hand that's on the right. Just looks a little sloppy, but that's fine. All right, so this jumps. So we're missing, it looks like we're missing a little bit of the hand being masked off. But for the most part, you now see, if you look at the girl on the left hand, on a hand that's waving in the foreground, we're now getting the shirt color, the hand color, the hair color, and the black outline. So that's giving us 4 colors in one region. So now all I gotta do is just look into why I'm missing. Tune the chest open and item catch from Zelda. Oh, let me see. So why are we missing a hand? So let me get rid of this mask for a second. So I feel like what's going on is I got a little too aggressive with so the first frame and the second frame need the hand because we're masking it off. And okay, so I need this frame, whoa, shoot, where'd that happen? So this and this, because this is frame 1. Oh, let me see here. Girl running overlay 1. Girl running overlay 1. So we need this hand and this hand. And then we need, there's no hand anywhere else except for this last frame, which should go here, which we already have. Okay, cool. So here are the 2 that we're missing. So we need this and this to merge. And we'll remove this and this. In all honesty, I don't think they would do this for, like, this is like a lot of work to go into to making this stuff work. I don't think on the original Nintendo they even cared this much. First off, there are places where you just see like color glitches like all over the place. Mario has like tons of them. But I think we're used to like a higher fidelity now in our pixel art. Like, so even these little touches make, like, to us visually it makes a little bit of a difference. But in the Nintendo, they probably would have said, you know, was it worth the effort? But since we're doing it and we're trying to show a advanced technique for making a Nintendo style game in Pixelvision 8, we're gonna go the extra mile. When I turn this into a tutorial, you won't even notice, like, because all this stuff will be set up for you anyways. It'll just be like, hey, add this line of code, and it'll automatically draw the sprites correctly. All right. There we go. Everything is nice and clean looking. So it took an entire day to break apart sprites that already worked as is. That's something, huh? All right, so I think what we'll do is I don't know when I'm going to be able to stream next. I'm going to try to stream tomorrow morning. We'll see. We'll see if my kids let me do that. But either way, even if I'm not streaming, I'm going to keep working on this and cleaning it up. And then it's going to be a long break from my streaming because next week my kids are home. And then I'm in Europe for 10 days. So I guess we'll build this at the end of April. I don't know. This will give me some time that what I'll probably do is when I do come back from doing my streams, I will at least streaming this game, I'll have the new background art and I'll get all that stuff sorted out. So that'll work out. But this, I'm pretty happy with this. Although, look, we did get to 36 sprites. So if we're at 36 sprites now, I mean, we would never have the guy and the girl out on the screen at the same time. We would just have to be cognizant of that. But all right, I think that's good for right now. So I'm going to shut the stream down. Thanks everyone for watching, and I probably will come back and I'll just do my normal. I've been recording. I've been recording playing old Nintendo games just as reference. So I'm going to start getting into that, and I think I'm going to try to do some commentary while I record it. I've just been recording like raw footage, but I think maybe what I'll probably do, since my kids like watching me play the games anyways, is we'll play some Nintendo games next week, and then we'll pull more references for building out this game and see how see other color effects that we can pull out from existing Nintendo games that we can re-implement in Pixel Vision 8. So thanks everyone for watching. See you at some point. Not sure when, but hopefully in the near future.